Hey everybody, welcome to the fourth video. The last video that we worked on, we got into some counterpoint. We did some note to notes. I showed one long example of what if your canis firmus is in the bottom voice. And now we're going to put that canis firmus in the top voice, and then we're going to kind of walk through some examples that are in the book, and then I might make some of my own counterpoints. So here we go. Let's take a peek at some stuff. So just notice, I want to just quick show how this is all laid out. A lot of it looks the same, right? Like he has his canis firmus is in the top line, his counterpoint's in the bottom one. Notice that the clef has changed. This is now in I don't know, a modern tenor clef more or less. And we can tell that because it's a treble clef with an 8 on the bottom. That 8 is telling us that all the notes here are transposed an octave down. I'm going to tell you right now that when you see me working on my examples, I'm going to straight up write a bass clef. It's just going to get us more prepared for things to come. So you have to remember when I start writing things in bass clef that, it's an F clef. You need to know where that is. But also notice here, there are some X's. There are sometimes 2 intervals written here. Those are how the teacher has marked the mistakes of the student. Even kind of read down here or whatever. Why did you mark a mistake in the first and second bar, venerable master? Have I not begun with whatever. Please help me out of my embarrassment. I am very ashamed. LOL. Don't worry, my son. The first mistake did not happen through any fault of yours, since you did not know the rule. So let's talk about these rules for a second. I'm going to freeze on this again. We still have the same canis firmus, right? It's still the one that goes da, 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 sweet. I'm going to play the notes that have been X'd out. These are that first attempt. Here we go. This is what his original counterpoint sounded like. With the canis firmus, sounds like this. Gets a little sad at the end. But let's talk about these X's for a second. Why did he mark them? What is the source of his embarrassment and shame? Well, what he says first, and this is kind of a rule specific to when you're writing things in the lower voice. You're more or less writing a bass line, and you want to be able to identify your tonic right away. So your first option really is either write something an octave down from this first note here, or write a unison. But no matter what, our tonic is D. We're in a D mode right now. We're in Dorian mode. Our bass line has to represent that. So that was teacher's correction. He put a D over there to correct. We are established in our key. I would say in 2020, I don't know that this sounds as weird as teacher would make it out to be. To me, this now sounds like a pickup measure. If you it sounds like a pickup measure to this feels like a downbeat. But he wants us to remember that this isn't a pickup measure. This is the beginning. This is we have to be established right away. We have to establish relaxation right away. So he's moved that down to a D. Over here now, he says Josephus freaks out and he's just but that's a third, and thirds are allowed, and he's and I approached it the way I was supposed to approach it. And the reason why teacher crosses this one out is because of the note that comes later. So a fix to this would be what? You could just write a unison here, but then look what's coming up after. You would just run into some issues. You can't go to a perfect unison on an E to a perfect unison on a D. You can't go perfects to perfects in that direction. You don't have any harmony. At that point you just have one note. But also if I wrote an E there, or sorry, wrote an E down here, then we're just kind of in a problem land now. So like teacher's just like, I kept this thing as a D because then when you like moved into your perfect consonants here, it moved in contrary motion. Here, like, he went from a D to an A, he went from like a consonants, but he kept it in direct motion. And remember, you can't go to a perfect consonants in a direct way. So let's play his corrections really quick. So his corrected one by itself sounds like this. I'll say, as someone who is always kind of watching about how I leap into something and then like move after that leap, I'm kind of surprised that the counterpoint line in measures 8 and 9 are allowed. Just because like from 7 to 8 you have a leap of a fifth, which is pretty gigantic, and like sometimes it just is good practice to like go down after like you leap like that. Just like check out like options for a second. He couldn't go down just a regular step. He couldn't write in a B there, because if he did that, now you have a tritone between the B and now an F in the top line. If he was to write in an A, like, I don't know if that's the end of the world. Sometimes you want to be a little careful about like leaping too much, but like if he was to do that melodically, that would be a leap of a third. And going like a fifth up, a third down, like that's not that crazy. I think like one reason why that might not have been why you would want to do that is because like then you would have to leap another third into that C sharp. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like there might be like a better way to write what this dude did. I want to point out some other things really quickly, and I'm going to unfreeze this. The formula here, like we talked about in the last video, like your second to last measure, there has to be like, if your counterpoint is in the upper voice, you need to have like this be a major sixth apart. In this case, has to be a minor third. Has to. The last video we talked a lot about interval qualities. So like if you're having a hard time like, what does he mean by minor third? How do I figure that out? Check it out there. Basically, like I gave two ideas. One was about like you can count your half steps, and if you're a beginner, you would probably be counting your half steps. You can also, like, I figured this out by knowing my key. Another thing I want to point out is he uses big numbers like tenths, and for me, if you watched my first video, I think this is where I talked about this, is that I kind of like, I just don't find numbers bigger than 8 helpful. Like, yes, I know that like from a lower D plus an octave plus 2 steps after that is like, I know that is a tenth. I understand that. But like for my purposes, I just think of like a D and an F as a third. Like I don't like thinking in higher than 8. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to do what I did in the last video as well. I'm going to copy down this canis firmus, and I'm going to write down, I'm going to make my own counterpoint really quick. So yeah, my canis firmus is here. I remember that I was going to write a bass clef down here. It's good practice. Here's our cool melody. So first, I think it's even like more helpful to maybe put the end together, you know? I gotta have a minor third in the bottom. Gotta. That's a rule that has been given unto us. And we gotta then finish, my leading tones gotta move up. That's just kind of the rule of life. So over here, remember, I have to start on my tonic. That gives us a choice of either starting on the unison or starting at the octave below. So like I have to start on D no matter what. I gotta establish my tonic. I can't even start on like an A, because just like notice that like that would be like the fifth of D Dorian, and that wouldn't be the most like crazy thing. But remember, we're avoiding fourths. We're treating those as dissonances right now. Because the last one started on a low D, I'm going to start on a high D just for kicks to see if this is possible. So like right now, remember your grand staff. These are the same pitches right now. This is the exact same. This is a unison. Now let's see how we can proceed. I could keep this as a D and create a third. I think to just kind of like give myself some variety, I'm going to go down to a and make a sixth. And we're gonna see if we like our life. Let's keep chugging. I could keep going down. That's what I did in the last video. Let's not. Let's keep this the same. We get a fifth. Because I went down here and I leapt down, it might be nice to like move back up in a step. Now here's where things are going to get a little tricky. I'm a little self-conscious about like maintaining too much similar motion, but I think I might. Because like, let's check out my intervals for a second. I could leap up into an E, but then like that would end up being higher than the note that came before it. So I want to probably avoid that. My next choice is a fifth, but like then I would have to like move this in direct motion, and that would be breaking a rule, right? Like that line's moving up. I can't move up to a C. It's a direct, it's a violation. I could keep this thing on a B, and that's kind of what I'm leaning towards right now, and making a sixth. I could like go down into the octave. Like that doesn't seem like the worst thing. And I think I might erase this right now, because I'm looking up right now. This is an F, and that's going to sound real weird if there's a B right before it. Just because remember, B to an F is a tritone. And so like this is kind of where we get into the hard parts of this puzzle, is that like not only do you have to think about directions this way and directions that way, but you kind of also have to look at directions diagonally too. It's kind of crazy. So I'm going to erase this. I'm going to write a G right there. I got an octave. Octaves are sick, love them. I'm just starting to notice that I got 4 measures left to work some magic, and so like I have to like make sure that I'm kind of starting to make my way back up. I'm going to go up right now, have some contrary motion, got a sixth, sweet. Things are getting dire. Yeah, things are getting dire. We gotta skip up here, but we got motion that's going this way. So like, I can look for my oblique options, and I can look for my contrary options. My oblique option is an A. And I think I'm going to stay away from an A because up to this point I have like 3 A's total. Like up to this point, and if I keep writing an A down, then like I'm just gonna have a line that just like is static. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna write an F. And this is where like I need you to kind of like do some imagining with me. Like this is a 10th. I don't like that. I just kind of think about like what is F to A? Like if I was to reduce this down to the smaller thing, and so like I'll write 10 for right now, but like in my brain I'm thinking 3. I might not write it like that because I don't know, for some reason that just looked like 10 thirds to me. That is a third in my brain right now. And I should start making my way up now. I should start working contrary. Here I got an octave, got a sixth, and then I run into my little ending there. I might try this a little bit. Like, I'm noticing that, yeah, I could have written a D there. That wouldn't have been the strangest thing. Let's freeze this. Let's see what I got. So here's my counterpoint. Oh, why does it do that? Here we go. I forgot to put measured numbers at the top. Notice with me my fourth measure there where I wrote in a B, and then 3 measures later I have an F written. Honestly, like, I'm gonna be frank with you. I know that I wouldn't want that between like one measure and the next, going like B to an F, because we want to avoid skips of tritones. We don't really even want to avoid them. We just straight up don't want them, especially in this species of counterpoint. And sometimes people will say that even like the bar after, like say that like 2 measures later after I wrote that B, I wrote an F, people would be like, oh, you're like, it's just not helping. But I would say in this case, like, that F is coming so much longer afterwards, like it's 3 measures later. Also, there's a little bit of a pattern that has just begun. Yeah, like if I were to keep that pattern going, it's just like a falling scale in thirds, you know what I mean? Like B, G, A, F. But I might like find myself needing to change that. I could see that being a gray area for a lot of teachers. Like maybe if that F would have come like 4 measures later, like 3 is kind of a magic number for how many times you can repeat something, or like worry about breaking a rule, like whatever. I could have like kept that A. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if we can like figure out some ways to get around this. Together though, let's play it. We got this. Even on this second playthrough, now I'm comparing the canis firmus to the counterpoint line. Look in the second measure with me. In the canis firmus, there's an F. And remember, I can't change the canis firmus. That's given to me. Like, I mean, on the worksheet, that would be the stuff that's given to me in ink. I can't change the things that are given to me in ink. 2 measures later is where my B pops up. And that's that tritone I want to avoid. So I think like I might have to completely rework this thing. Yeah, we're going to completely rework this thing. I still want to stick with starting on the unison, kind of like at this point as a challenge to myself. But yeah, we are going to completely wipe this out. Let's see if we can first, like before I get a little overzealous, let's see if I can just change it with like right here. So I could like leap into a unison here and write a D, and that would be fine, but I also want to avoid having too many perfect consonances. We tried the third and I didn't like it. Can't do a fifth because then that would be parallel fifths. We can try a sixth. Let's play it. See if we hate it. Or see if we love it. That's a better way to say that. Let's try it out. Ooh. There's a mistake that I just heard. Did you hear it with me? And that that is why you can't move directly into perfect consonances. Look at that fifth measure there where I like tried to change one thing, but now it really affects that octave that's coming up. And all of a sudden you can hear that I went from something kind of filled with harmony to just like hollowness and emptiness. That stuck out to me a lot, and that's the nice thing about being able to play your examples, is because you can like theoretically, not even theoretically, it just takes a little bit of practice. You can hear your mistakes. So now I have some options. We can see if we need to completely change everything before that new thing that I just wrote in, or like, do I just change the things that come after it? Let's see what we got. I probably don't want to move up. Yeah, like, because if I was to like, I mean, let's figure this thing out quick. If I was to go like up to an E to make a third, like now I'm jumping a seventh, like an F to an E. And just kind of how sevenths in harmony are kind of forbidden, they definitely are in this case as well. You can't jump a seventh melodically. Not a good choice to make. Couldn't jump into a fifth because then I'm moving in direct motion that way too. Can't go to a sixth because then I have a tritone. Can't go into an octave because we just talked about that. We could keep going down, see what happens. Remember, this is a tenth. I'm going to say it's a third. It's an E to a G. You can kind of hear some vitriol in my voice. People are always like, that's a tenth. Like, you're fine. And I'm erasing here because, like, I should. Because, like, now I would get so skippy, right? I kind of want to, like, do that again. Write a third down there. Now this is starting to make its way back up. This would be like 3 of those thirds in a row. Let's see what we got. Here's the counterpoint line by itself. So, one thing that could be funny about this is, like, we're looking out for those augmented intervals. Look in your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th measure, and F. 3 measures later, I have that C sharp there because I need that C sharp there. That is an interval known as an augmented fifth, and that's not awesome. That's not the best thing that I've ever done. Well, let's play them together, because I always want to make sure I do that. Cool. I'm going to pull this back. We're going to fix this thing again. Maybe to fix it, what I do is keep this thing, like we'll move obliquely into a consonance, perfect consonant specifically. There's a D to an A, a 12th, but a 5th if you will. here comes the trickiness. I think that one actually has to stay. Like maybe this, maybe like all you can really do is have an awkward ending unless you were to like stay high the entire time. And then that would point out why, like, earlier, if you remember, like, Joseph, or not Josephus, Aloysius is the teacher, his, like, change was having something written on the low do, on the low tonic. And maybe, like, that is just the way that, maybe that's just the way to do it. Like, the reason I'm full of, like, doubt and regret is, like, this isn't the most straightforward line. I'll play this for you quick. And I'm going to start here, just so that I stop, like, guessing what measure I'm on. There you go, put some measure numbers up there. So look at measure 7. This isn't the most straightforward line to sing. Some people that would balk at it, right? Let's play what we have now. Just my counterpoint line. If I was to like draw a contour on that thing, what I like is that it kind of dips down and then comes back up. And that's always like a good contour for a melody to have. Yeah, I just don't know. There's something about it that just feels really awkward to me about it. Let's put both of these lines together. Yeah, it's something about going from that 8th measure to that 9th measure that just like really gets me going. I don't really know that I love it. So like if I was to fix this, and I might fix it so that like I end with some success, I think like I might just need to change something honestly in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th measure, and then that would change everything after that. I'm going to play that one more time. Like I feel like I'm following rules, I just don't like it. You know? I feel like there's another solution. So I'm going to erase things that I did. I'm going to erase it here, if I'm being honest. Erase it there too. Yeah, we're just going to like go to town. I'm going to keep this thing high. Third there now, a 3rd, and I feel like we gotta keep moving that way too. A 3rd, now I really should stop writing 3rds. I'm gonna keep it there, we got a 6th. But now we're gonna like run into a tritone situation. Not about it. Man, life is tough. Okay, I'll tell you like one weird conundrum that like exists in counterpoint is that, so like in strict counterpoint, people don't really like jumping in 6ths, but like for some reason or another, people love jumping in octaves, or at least like that has been acceptable to them. And I think the biggest reason is because of the principle of octave equivalence. Like notes that are an octave apart have a very similar sound, and so like I think that might be just what I do on that first couple of measures. Bum, bum. Maybe that's a dramatic jump. It's fun. Remember, this is like a 10th, but I'm going to say that's a 3rd. But but I should for sure try to go up after that. Yeah. Things are gonna get a little funny here. That's fine. But now I'm gonna start running into the same issue I did before. Do that because like I'm farther away from that than I once was. That's fine. I'm gonna do something a little crazy maybe? I'll jump to 5th. Keep that 5th. Man, times are tough in the city. That could be fun. And I don't think disallowed either. Yeah, so I think like if we have to have this ending. Oh, what do we have here quick? I got a third octave. No, I shouldn't write that one because then we have like, that's a tritone. Shoot. Wasn't as fun as I thought that was going to be. It says in the book that writing things below is more difficult. Yes. Look at that measure. We have drawn 4 different things and not liked any of them. To be fair, like going back in time, like if someone was to turn in a few of those finished examples I had, I think that first one, if I remember specifically, like it's fine. But like, this is where I just kind of want it to be something I like. Maybe we're gonna go like way back over here. So just remember that though, like I can jump an octave, that's fine, it's not a big deal. So maybe like at the end of the day, you just kind of realize that like maybe the best option is just to start low, you know what I mean? Like sometimes teacher knows best. Let's do it. sick. And I'm not going to put a D up there because we run into troubles over there. I might not want to leap into a sixth, but, you know. Life. Let's see how that goes. Here's my counterpoint line. Yeah, I have 3 6s in a row, 3 3s in a row, nothing more than that. Yeah, we're good. Let's see if we find out. Still is that issue in measures like 7 and 10. I don't know if there's enough separation between those. And I just kind of forgot that on the fly. That is my bad. I'm just noticing too, like in this last iteration, I tried to like avoid B's in my bottom line because B's are kind of like running me into those tritone situations that I want to avoid. Oh, like I just made a new one right now. I kept my A, and then I went up to a C, and I kept going up. There might be some people that have issue with what I just did. Don't judge me too harshly, I guess. Let's see what we got. Together. Break any rules. Like I said, between like all that upward leaping and skipping and then moving from like measures 5 through 9, someone might not be like super happy about that. At the end of the day, I tried my best. Next video is just going to be like me working through some examples of things. So, there you go. Have a good one, everybody.